Hardy Fishing 17. So specifications, so LOA 18.8 feet, beam 2.2 metres or 7.2, draft of 0.6 of a metre. I believe it can take a 70 horsepower. Manufactured mid to late 80s, I believe, so you might just sort of reinforce the transom a little bit, might be okay. And I've seen a hull for sale for just boat only for about 2,500–3,000 quid, something like that. So yeah, it's a sort of a planing hull, semi-displacement sort of hull, and yeah, they're quite widespread. You can pick them up quite cheap. That is an option for a fishing boat there. Right, the 18 Fisherman, 18 Navigator. Nice little boat, well built, high gunwales, 17 10 inches, 17 feet 10 inches long, beam 2.2, 0.6 of a draft, weight 660 kilos or 278 pounds, height in the cabin 1.35, will take up to a 50 horsepower long shaft, speed in excess of 20 knots, very sort of heavily built fiberglass, old fashioned looking, but they're, if you want a budget sort of boat, they don't make them like they used to. Yeah, it's a lovely little boat. And there's the fisherman style as well, which gives you a little bit more cockpit space. Right, Hardy 20 Fishing here. So it's 20 foot long, 8 foot beam, 2 foot draft, 0.6. Bridge clearance, so height top of the cabin there, 6'4", 6'4". And it's got a dry weight of 1,500 kg, and it'll fit, I believe, I think an old 75 two-stroke or 92 stroke, which is about 125 kg. So you'd want like a command thrust sort of engine for it in the same sort of weight band, I would say. Yeah, very good seaworthy boat. They've done a variance in the River Pilot. They've done a Family Pilot, exactly the same hull. The Bosun is exactly the same hull as well. Semi-displacement, so with a biggish sort of engine, you're looking to sort of get somewhere near 20 knots, something like that, so plenty fast enough. Very seaworthy, very spacious, and category C boat. And yeah, that's the one to go for. And you can pick them up second hand, pretty cheap compared to some of them, the modern day sort of equivalents, and last for ages. Hardy Fishing 24. They don't make them anymore. Good sea boat. Heavy reinforced, glass reinforced plastic. It's a 7.31 metres long, 2.74 metres beam. Displacement, so it's 2,000 kgs in weight. Can stern drive options. I believe there's be one or two with a shaft driver option, and there may even be some with a sort of an outboard option as well, possibly with a sort of a transom, a different kind of transom, sort of just screwed onto the back. Wheelhouse. Yes, you can have it as a trailer boat, so getting a bit on the big side, quite heavy, more geared up to being sort of positioned into like a marina. Hardy 25 here, I think this one in particular is a 1983 motor cruiser. You can fish off the back of that. Length 7.99, beam 2.74, draft 0.91, dry weight 250 kg, 2,250 kg, and shaft drive, stern drive, and even adaptations with an outboard. Robust, I believe it's a category B or C or something like that. Good on the coastal and inland waterways. It's got good accommodation inside, all-weather sort of cruising sort of experience. Yeah, they're fairly expensive, but yeah, they're sort of good boat, that one. So this is the Hardy Mariner 25, and these were manufactured about, I don't know, something like 10 years later than the previous sort of ones. Not sure why. Possibly something to do with the, just want to sort of revitalise the brand, but also I think there was a recession in the sort of early 90s, and it was like their second stint at sort of developing the boats from the older 80s style sort of boats. So anyway, so this is the Hardy Mariner 25, and so yeah, stern drive, shaft drive option. So it's 25 feet long. It's a beam of 9 foot 8 inches, draft of 3 feet, and a dry weight of 4,000 kg. So it's quite a tank, that one. Yeah, fuel tank. It just depends on what configuration you've got in there. Nice in combination. Lovely boats. Like just a slightly modern sort of version of the 80s ones. This late 90s sort of one there, but gorgeous little thing. Hardy 27. So again, the late sort of 90s sort of build. 27 feet long. Beam 9 foot 4 or 2.85, very beamy. It's quite good, these boats. I've had the privilege of walking around one. They're very, you can walk right around the outside of it. So the actual cabin itself is quite narrow, but you can actually walk around quite easily for your anchoring and stuff like that. Or if you're just hanging out at the front there of the boat. Draft 0.9 of a metre. And they're mainly, for what I can see of it, they're mainly shaft drive, these ones. Yeah, there's lots of different sort of configurations. I'm not sure how many were built. I mean, I was looking at one a few weeks back, and it had a single 100 horsepower diesel engine on shaft. For a boat this size and the weight, that's actually quite. It's a nice little engine, but that's not going to get the boat at the top speeds. It just depends on what you're using it for and stuff like that. But yeah, gorgeously built boats. They really are, the Hardy.